and welcome, everyone. We're thrilled to have you with us for another episode of BYOP on the Go tonight. We're talking about passion, growth, and the incredible journey of building something that impacts young athletes for life. I'm Ruth Nelson, founder of BYOP on the Go, and it's an honor to host this special episode in the No series. Jayden Heisel, a former BYOP player who has grown into a remarkable college student at Sam Houston State University, joins me as my co-host. So Jayden shines in academics, at least so far she has, and she prepares some exciting questions to guide tonight's discussion. It's our pleasure to welcome tonight's featured guest. He's a founder and CEO of Ace Volleyball Club, which he launched in 2012 in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. With over 20 years of experience in the game as a player and a coach, he has dedicated his career to developing athletes and leaders through volleyball. What begins as a single club has grown into a multi-chapter organization with locations across Alberta and into other provinces, including Winnipeg and British Columbia. Under his leadership, Ace Volleyball Club has become a place where athletes not only train to compete at high levels, but also learn the values of teamwork, perseverance, and community service. He currently serves as a head of elite performance, helping players reach their full potential on and off the court. We're excited to hear about his journey, the growth of Ace Volleyball Club, and his insights into junior club volleyball in Canada. So let's welcome Dave Wildman to the show.
Right on.
Oh,
Thanks so much, you guys.
Well, you know what I told Jayden, as we said before we got on the show, it's been 5 years, so I'm better late than ever, right?
Yeah, no, glad to be here. Stoked.
Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to actually show a little video clip that engages and promises to inspire our viewers. So let's set the stage with this video.
Right on.
And you can narrate if you want to.
Okay, let's go with it.
Okay.
There's young me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's our Ace of Heart Award. Yeah, that's when I was coaching U15. That's Ryan Hofer, Trinity Western coach in BC. He's amazing, one of the best coaches in Canada, in my opinion. U18 team I coached a long time ago. We had a pro beach league that we sponsored. Some more Ace athletes. Here we go. A lot of kids playing the game.
Numbers. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
fantastic when you really think about it. But
Yeah, we have like, I think, I don't know, 9 chapters. I've lost count.
oh,
Yeah, so we're in BC, we're in Alberta, and we're also in Manitoba. So we have about 180 coaches and over 1,000 kids on an annual season.
oh my. Okay, Jayden, you'll relate to that after being with Skyline. So Jayden, if you're ready, let's begin with our questions that will give us lots of information. And please do not hesitate, Dave, if we've missed something that you would like to share with our viewers.
No, it's all good. Let's do
all
it.
of our viewers, I would say 40% of our viewers are international. The other 60% are here.
Awesome.
And we have lots of coverage in Europe, Asia, and in the Oman area because I have friends over there. So Jayden, you go for it. You're going to get to ask him some great questions.
So first question I have for you is, what inspired you to start Ace Volleyball Club, and what was your vision when you founded it?
Oh, that's a great question. So I founded Ace Volleyball Club in 2012, and I never went to university or college thinking that I was like, oh, I'm going to run a volleyball club one day. I'm actually a power engineer and a plumber by trade, and I was doing that full time. And I moved from Vancouver, BC to Calgary, Alberta, due to work, not volleyball related. And so I ran a club here in BC called Heat Volleyball Club from 2000, let's call it 2004 to 2010. And that was one that I created. And I was like, I'm going to go to Calgary, Alberta and just go coach for another club. I don't want to like deal with all the stuff you need to deal with in regards to, running a club. I did that for about 2 years and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to run a club again. So, because I don't know. I hate to say it. There is politics in any sport. I don't think this is just a volleyball thing, kind of was a part of something, and I was like, I don't know, this doesn't seem right. So I just went and did my own thing, and it started off with two teams. So the original Ace year was 2012. And we started with a two teams, and I coached both of them. And then it grew from there. So it went from, two teams to five teams to 10 teams. And now we're at this year, I'd say we're at probably around 75, 80.
Oh,
So yeah, 75, 80 teams between all the chapters, right? So yeah, it's been a lot. So my inspiration was passion for the sport, trying to get more kids to play.
uh-huh.
Um, I don't know. I'm gonna, go off the beaten path here. I do believe that this sport is getting to be an expensive sport for kids to play.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, life, inflation, whatever, 2025, everything is expensive. But at the end of the day, like the sport shouldn't be elitist either. It should be a sport for everyone to play.
Mhm.
Myself as a player, I never made national team. I played on a college team. I didn't play on a university team. So I was a middle of the ballpark player on a college level, and I loved it. I was actually one of my sports that I was best at was probably baseball. And I always go, what if I went down that road? Would I be, in the big show right now? Who knows? But I loved playing volleyball, and it was definitely, even though it wasn't my probably I was not the most talented at that compared to other sports that I played growing up.
Uh-huh.
It was definitely the one I loved the most. And
Wow.
I always felt like needs to be something that, pass on that love. You know what I mean? It's all about creating that passion for the next generation. So definitely never thought it was going to turn into a full-time job ever. Multiple times the board of directors came to me and said, like, Dave, why don't you step away from plumbing and come and do this full time? And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So, and then one day I was like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's see what happens. And then it really blew up from there. So long story short, it was all about passion. It was all about just trying to pass on the torch to the next generation and future
Just
generations of
for our
volleyball
viewers,
players.
since we have about 60% of our viewers are from the US, could you kind
Mhm.
of give us a ballpark figure of what it costs to play for club and how long it lasts?
Yeah, okay. So club volleyball ballpark, there's
Yeah,
some clubs that are cheaper and other clubs that are more
yeah,
expensive. But I would say that, it starts in, your trial. Well, there's tryouts in December,
okay.
but the stronger teams probably have their kids already chosen before then, unofficially. And then it goes from December to May, we'll call it.
Okay.
May, your guys, would it be your May President's Weekend? Or is
Yeah.
it Memorial Weekend? What's your whatever your holiday is in May?
Yeah.
And that kind of like the start and finish time for Canada, and it ranges from anywhere from, I'd say, three, depending on the city you're in, but it ranges anywhere from 2,500 to, there are some clubs out there that are 6,000 per kid. So so it's
Okay.
I'd say 2,000 to 6,000 would be a good
Okay.
Wow.
ballpark.
And
Yeah.
about 6 to 8 tournaments or 8 to 10
Yeah.
tournaments.
No, I'd say 6 to 8. You're doing 6 to 8. Usually each province has kind of like 3 to 4 kind of ranking tournaments, if you will, that you need to go to. They're 2 dayers.
Uh-huh.
But then you do, maybe two or three local tournaments in your
Yeah.
in your city, which are like 1 dayers. And then I love taking teams down to the States. We come
Uh,
down to Vegas February
yeah.
long weekend. We've been to Volleyball Festival. We've been to
Yeah.
the Emerald City Classic in Seattle. So we've done quite a number of different U.S. tournaments, and they're always a hit for the kids, and a lot of fun doing
And
those
the
3 day
competition is
events.
good.
We just want to play different people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even if we get our asses handed to us, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, you know what I mean? It's still like we just want to play different people and
Yeah.
experience what other countries are doing in the sport, what other states are
Right.
doing in the sport, what just I don't like playing the same team 19 times in the same season.
Oh, you wouldn't want to
So
live in Dallas. Jade, you better
yeah,
go to your next question.
yeah.
So, can you describe the core values that drive your coaching philosophy and the club's culture?
Ooh, core values. I mean, I think this is a long lost value again in this generation is loyalty.
Uh-huh.
I really believe that loyalty is a word not used enough and not demonstrated enough. So, for example, if you're a part of Ace, we're always looking at the people that are watering the grass here before, people that want to come in from other clubs. So we always look within our own people first to
Gotcha.
create the next year's teams and then build obviously from that. And some kids come, some kids go. That's just volleyball. That's sport, right?
Right.
You can sit there and have a perfect program. There's no such thing as a perfect program, or there'd only be one club in Canada or the US, And so I think a big core value that I have is being personal, like having the face
Okay.
to face, talking to people, and having those interactions with athletes. Like this was the very first year in 25 years that I didn't coach due to myself having a new baby girl.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so I took a year off of coaching, but it was like I still was
You're
out there, even though I wasn't coaching the teams, saying hi to
right.
kids and making sure that they, were having a hopefully a positive experience. That's the hope. We don't wake up in the morning and go, hey, I hope I piss a 12-year-old off today,
Right.
and piss their parent off too. But like so for me, it's all about the core value is definitely, family, loyalty,
Okay.
and trying to be as genuine as we can in the not demographic, but in the year of 2025 and everything that 2025 brings.
Yeah. So what that leads into, how do you approach developing the young athletes both as players and as people? Because you said it's a personal thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's all about connecting, right? That's what we do
Okay.
here on these podcasts, right?
Yeah.
Connecting with kids. Every new coach thinks that they have to win to be successful. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I said, there's only one gold, one silver, one bronze. It's like, I said, I think it speaks volumes on a coach if how many kids are coming back? How many
Right.
kids are leaving with a smile on their face? Again, depending on the team within our club,
Uh-huh.
there are some more competitive teams than others, but there are teams that are more recreational, if you will. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, it's about connecting with athletes and connecting with parents too.
Yeah.
And there's a fine and I've okay, so I'm turning 40 this year, and it's like uh, there's a fine line with you're not their friend.
Right.
You are their mentor, you are their coach, you are
Right.
not their friend, and you're not the parents' friends either. You're a friend of convenience for the
Oh,
parents. You
mm,
know what I mean? And I always tell younger coaches, your parents will, buy you drinks, buy your dinner, this, that, whatever, and then you all of a sudden bench their kid for, because the six on the court, and you're not benching a kid because they did anything wrong. Maybe the six on the court are just doing really well. You know what I mean? You don't fix it if it's not broken. And then all of a sudden, you're the worst enemy to a parent. So, I really try to instill like, hey, try to educate parents, try to educate players, and the people that are listening will learn and will adapt. But, unfortunately, there are some people in, youth sports that don't decide not to listen.
okay. So what role do life lessons like teamwork and perseverance play in your training methods?
I mean, again, like, it is a team game. You know what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
personal responsibility is huge. That's one that we really, really lean hard on. You know what I mean? Is being able to, let's say a kid misses, six practices in a row, like that hurts that one athlete, but it also hurts the team dynamic,
Sure.
right? And so, and personal responsibility is, ensuring you're at practice
Uh-huh.
and not getting mom to give me a phone call or give the coach a phone call saying, hey, we're missing. It's like, hey, we really really push, especially in Ace, is like having athletes um speak up and have a voice for themselves,
Sure.
right? And I think if you learn this in youth sports, you're better off when you go out into the working world.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because you're not going to have mom and dad go, my son or daughter is sick today and can't come into work. Boss doesn't care. You know what I mean? Or boss is getting rid of you just because mom and dad phoned you. So I really try to, we try to advocate on like let them march and let them lead their own parade. And I feel that those types of values of personal responsibility and accountability, again, is a long lost art in 2025, but we're still pushing down that road. So
So you're
yeah,
basically you're being a role model for your coaches all the time.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
All right,
And
Jay.
our coaches are role models to the kids, right? And it's just that snowball effect, right? So, it's not do as I say, not as I do, right? We want to make sure that we're talking the talk and walking the walk.
A bit old fashioned, but that's okay. I like that old
Yeah.
school. All right, Jay.
So, what have been some of the biggest challenges and milestones in building Ace Volleyball Club?
Milestones, challenges. Here's the thing. We started as a very small club, and we definitely had the personal touch. And like anything, uh when you're a smaller club, you have that more interaction because it's, less people.
Uh-huh.
As we've grown, we do hear the things, oh, you're just a big machine now, blah, 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 and those are definitely things that we really try to focus on trying to still like make sure, like, I don't care how big we get, we still have to have our core values and what we were built on. And
Uh-huh.
that's, the interaction, the communication, the one-on-one, let's have face-to-face conversations, not
Yeah.
over emails where, you get the keyboard warriors and all that stuff. Like, let's really stick to our core values and how we started and why it grew. And that was personal connection. You know what I mean?
How
And so
much
I
how
think
much
as
communication do you have in person with your coaches monthly?
So we have a technical director team as
Okay.
well. So it's not just me. And the technical director team is, there's 5 or 6 coaches that are, ex-university coaches, college coaches,
Yeah.
myself, stuff like that. So, like I'm connecting with coaches, me personally, being, I don't know, call it what it is, the higher end of the food chain.
Yeah.
At least once a week,
Uh-huh.
but where the technical team is probably talking to coaches 2 to 3 times a week,
So
you
you have a
know.
system in place that is being taught throughout all age groups?
Correct. Yeah. So the technical director team
Yeah.
does, basically come up with the program of like, okay, this is what we should be teaching at U14. This is what we should be
Okay.
teaching at U13. And we want coaches not to be robots, right? Where
Right.
they're just like, okay, let's teach this, blah, blah, blah. So we were like, this is what you should teach. How you teach it is your unique way.
Right.
But this is what we should be teaching at whatever, at U14 after tournament 1. This is what we should be focusing on after tournament 2 and stuff like that. So there's a guide, but we want all coaches to be unique and have their own voice and have their own sort of twist to how they do things.
Your own
And so
style.
yeah, their own style, right? Exactly. So we give them that opportunity to create their own style,
Mhm.
because I can sit there and write a book and say, hey, this is what you teach. Here's your 4 drills that you're going to do, and here's your 6 other 2 drills, whatever. And then it's just like, it's complacent, it's robotic, it's then you don't really need coaches. You can just get just some random person to be like the person who calls himself a coach because they're just reading off a book. So we want coaches to definitely find their
Mhm.
own style, right? And find their own voice.
Okay. So would that mean then too, what's your philosophy? And it's not even part of the question, but it's my question because
Mhm.
it's such a big thing here. Do you feel that you need to develop your players as all-around players when they're young? And what
Yeah,
age?
I think I definitely think that this is my own personal belief. I believe that we specialize athletes in positions way too early,
Okay.
and I believe that, at the younger ages, we should be developing way more setters than we do. You know what I mean? Like, I just cringe when I see, a U14 team doing a 5-1 system.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, it just makes me literally fall off my chair. Um, and and it's always funny because I promote, like, a 4-2 system at U14 because, again, it's no one's going to care if you win the gold medal at VA2
Right.
You're like, no one's talking about that. No one cares. You know what I mean? You win a national championship, okay, people, that's a very memorable moment, and that's really cool.
For a few weeks.
But and but and again, it's like I try to make sure coaches like know your audience too. Like, hey, if you're coaching a little bit more of a recreational team,
Yeah.
running a 4-2 system is not okay. If you're a contender for a national championship, all right, if you want to transition into a 5-1 system by halfway through the season
Yeah.
and go that direction for the last half, then okay, sure, fine. You know what I mean? But just kind of like know your audience and ensure that you're not trying to win in the moment
Okay.
where it's actually going to hurt long-term development.
So are you
And
thinking
I think
13, you're now specializing, or you think that's still too early?
we'll see at U13, we have rules in Canada, or at least in province of Alberta, where it's even play.
Okay.
And so at U13, we run something called triple ball.
Okay.
And basically, it's like a wash drill. So you have 6-on-6,
Uh-huh.
and um, uh, one team serves, and it doesn't matter who wins that point. And then a parent will come into the court and throw a free ball over to one team, and then they'll play that point out, and then the opposite team's parent will come into the court and throw a free ball over to position 6, and they'll play that ball out. And then there's 3 points, and then the other team rotates and goes and serves, no matter
What
what.
age
Even
group is
if one
that?
team, that's at U13.
U13. So
Yeah.
basically, okay, so how about it? Are you doing any competition 8 and 9-year-olds yet?
No, we should. And I think, you know what, I give Volleyball Canada credit and the provincial associations. We have a U12 league now.
Yeah.
And a Volleyball BC is, in my opinion, the best provincial association in Canada.
Uh-huh.
And they're just fantastic. And hats off to them. And they've been running U12 for quite a number of years. And now, Alberta has a U12 league. So kudos to Volleyball Alberta.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure Volleyball Ontario has a U12 league too, because they're the biggest province in
Will you
Canada.
start that?
What's that? We do have U12 teams
Yeah.
at Ace Volleyball Club. And at U12 you're running basically a system where everyone let's just say the setter needs to be in position 2, and you just rotate, and if you're in position 2, you're the setter. So you're running the 6-6 system, right? And uh, so it goes kind of U12 6-6 system to U13, which is triple ball system.
Yeah.
Then U14, you're playing, well, quote unquote, normal volleyball with some substitution type of rules, like fair play and even play and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And then U15, you're playing it depends on the province. You could be playing fair play rules at that point, or anything goes. And
Wow.
then at U16 and up, it's anything goes. So you actually see the most kids drop off after U16. That's statistically what you see, is the vast majority of kids fall off the volleyball, train after U16.
Okay. Jayden, because we're getting close to our time, why don't we jump to your last 2 questions?
Alrighty. So, what advice would you give to young athletes or families just starting their volleyball journey?
Oh, trust the process. I mean, I know that sounds so like, carbon copy, whatever, but it is. The reason why things usually go wrong is ego. Well, that's number one. It's usually ego. It's like, like everyone has a path, and not everyone's path is straight to the national team or straight to Div 1 NCAA. You know what? Like, I've had kids go on top to our top team, and then the next year, maybe they're on the second team down, and then the next year they're back on the top team, right? Like, where other kids stay on the top team the whole time. And it's like everyone's path is different.
Yeah.
And if you're at the good club, a right club who truly cares about each individual kid's path, they're not going to lead you astray. They want to see your kid be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but sometimes, it's like, oh, I went from the A team to the B team. Oh, my life is over. Screw you. I'm going to another club. Okay. And sometimes that's the path too, is go to another club. The amount of kids that, that I've seen go somewhere, and it's like the next year, it's like, hey, welcome back. All right, welcome home. You know what I mean? So
are you telling me we should have a portal for club volleyball?
It's already there, Ruth. Unfortunately, it's just not officially a portal, but
okay, Jayden,
it's unfortunately there. Yeah.
So, looking ahead, 5 or 10 years, what is your hope for the legacy of Ace Volleyball Club?
Oh, I think 5 or 10 years, we hope to be probably in every province in Canada.
Okay.
I would love to move to Florida. I would move to
Oh,
the States, you guys, in a heartbeat. I literally think about it all the time. So I hope maybe one day we have, I know there's actually an Ace Volleyball Club in, I think maybe Arizona, I think it is,
yeah.
that we came cross paths with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The legacy is, get as many kids into the sport.
Yeah.
The legacy is, have positive experiences. The legacy is hope, that you can use sport to get away from, life issues. You had a rough day at school. You can go to volleyball and take a breath and shut your mind off to whatever stresses that a someone in their youth ages have, whatever that is,
All right. So,
So and then obviously to obviously be the best player you can be.
uh-huh. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit what I have up on the screen, and that's your July events, because there's people that are close to the border that you never
Mhm.
know may sneak under and come on over your way. Could you talk a little bit about your two events, your academy that you have, and also your camps?
Yeah, so we just opened our head office, just opened a new 5 court facility in Calgary.
Okay.
And so we're running programs now 12 months a year. So our Ace Volleyball Academy is a new program based towards 8 to 12-year-olds,
Uh-huh.
just getting them into the game. So, there's something called Smash Ball that we
Oh
do
yeah.
here, which is
Ontario is, I saw some YouTube stuff on it.
yeah, Smash Ball crate was created. Well, I mean, I think it started in
Europe.
Ontario and it's kind of working its way around the country.
Yeah.
So the Ace Volleyball Academy is very something that's generated towards our 8 to 12 athletes, boys or
Yeah.
girls.
Okay.
And then the welcome to club is trying to give an environment that is low pressure to kids who hope to make a club team. So
Okay.
there's a way of trying to just get into the sport without being all nervous about tryouts. So this is what you would do prior to tryouts, if you
So
will.
it's what we call pre-club.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be a good
Okay.
description
So
of it.
that's,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's something you do every July?
Yeah, usually July and August in the summer months. Yeah.
All right, that's excellent.
hmm
All right, so a special thank you to David for sharing, and I call him David, but Dave, I'm not sure which one you go by, Dave or David or both.
I've been called worse.
Okay,
We'll go
so
Dave.
either of those. Okay, so sharing
Yeah.
your incredible journey with us, and it was
Mhm.
truly inspiring to hear firsthand your experiences in having a successful club in Canada, and especially for us to understand better that it's not just playing at 8 and 9 year old like what's happening here in the US. It's like what you talked about, the three on, you have modified rules, you have different provinces that are doing different
Mhm.
things, and then you actually have 6-on-6 competition.
Mhm.
So we're excited to follow Ace Volleyball Club for the years to come and wishing you great success along the journey. But for those that haven't yet connected with Ace Volleyball Club, go to www.acevolleyballclub.ca. And Dave, is there anything you want to leave us with before Jayden takes over on the closeout here?
No, thanks for having me, and I look forward to seeing you in Kansas. I'll be down there.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to, Jayden, remind us on how teachers, parents, and coaches can get involved in Go Kids certification.
So, if you're passionate about teaching kids ages 10 and under, explore the Go Kids Youth Sports website to register as a host for your own certification course. Early registration offers a special discount on your membership to RNN Sports Gym, including an 8-week training program, a one-on-one session with founder Ruth and Nelson, and full access to the world's only 24/7 virtual gym.
Wow, a huge thank you to our co-host Jayden, and a big shout out to our certified Go Kids Youth Sports Skills trainers from Nebraska, Montana, Connecticut, Maryland, DC, and Texas. And Dave, we just certified 21 new coaches in Nebraska at the end of January. So be sure to mark your calendars. We can't wait to see you in July. Be sure to like, tag, and share our stories to keep the energy going. And be sure to see us next month with a new surprise guest. And again, Dave, it was wonderful. And I'm just glad, as I said, I'm better late than never. And
Well, thanks for having me. I'm stoked
back.
that
Bye.